listener production.
Hi, Natarsha Belling with you and welcome to the afternoon edition of The Briefing. Coming up in our deep dive, the Donald Trump-Elon Musk war of words has escalated, with the tech billionaire making explosive claims against the US president, including alleging he is on the Jeffrey Epstein list. We have all the fallout. But first, let's check the afternoon headlines this Friday, the 6th of June. Anger has erupted inside a Tasmanian court after a magistrate found a jumping castle operator not guilty over the Hillcrest school tragedy. 6 children were killed when fierce winds that had been described by some as a mini twister hit the jumping castle, throwing it across the oval. A number of children were inside the castle at the time. Families of the victims killed were emotional outside court after the Tasmanian magistrate found the operators not guilty of failing to comply with a health and safety duty.
This outcome does not reflect the weight of our loss, nor the reality we live with every single day. When a system fails to deliver accountability for the deaths and injuries of children, it doesn't just fail our families, it fails justice itself.
Chris Dawson's latest legal bid has failed, the New South Wales Supreme Court dismissing his appeal to quash a sexual abuse charge against a former female student in the 1980s. He's already serving 24 years jail for murdering his wife, Lynette. And the Prime Minister is off to the G7 summit next week, where he will have his first sit-down meeting with US President Donald Trump. Anthony Albanese says he won't relax Australia's strict biosecurity rules when he meets with Mr Trump, with tariffs set to be top of the agenda.
I deal with people, whoever they are, in the same respectful way. I expect respect back. I'm the Prime Minister of Australia. We don't have a subservient relationship to any nation.
That audio thanks to the ABC. Now it's time to get into our deep dive on Elon Musk and Donald Trump. The bromance is well and truly over. A lot has happened over the past 24 hours, so this is how it all unfolded. Elon Musk left the White House last week as the efficiency boss after a fallout over the US government's so-called big spending, beautiful bill. Overnight, Donald Trump hit back over the constant criticism, saying he's very disappointed with Elon.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars.
The Tesla billionaire then let loose on his social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, alleging Mr Trump would never have won the US election without him, and that the US president is in the Epstein files, and that's the real reason they haven't been made public. Joining us is ABC journalist Matt Bevan, who unpacks what ramifications this latest blow-up has for US politics and the growing uncertainty for the rest of the world, including us here in Australia, and for our multi-billion-dollar trade and security alliances. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. We all woke up in Australia today to see this reality show unfolding right before our very eyes, but it is real life and it involves 2 of the world's most powerful men. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, in many ways, this was incredibly predictable. I think a lot of people would have thought that 2 personalities of the type of Donald Trump and Elon Musk would eventually get on each other's nerves, and one would do something that the other one isn't going to put up with. Of course, Donald Trump has a long history of turning on basically everyone who has ever worked for him, with the exception of people in his immediate family. So it's not a surprise, but the scale of it, the scale of the blow-up is a bit bigger than I think I would have expected. I kind of thought that Elon Musk would sort of just ride off into the sunset and the 2 of them would sort of just agree to, let's just never mention that again and move on with our lives. But it seems that they weren't willing to let it go that easily.
It's a war of words, and we unpacked it earlier about what's actually, words that have been exchanged. Elon Musk has let rip on social media, or on what used to be known as Twitter, his platform X. Mr. Trump has responded via his social media platform and also to journalists. Now, who do you think will be the winner of this tirade?
Well, I mean, Donald Trump has the power of a very large supporter base on his side and a history of winning pretty much all of these little disputes that he gets into with people from time to time. But I guess Elon Musk, the risk that it runs for Trump is that Elon Musk has a pretty narrow but quite an avid fan base. Whether some of those people decide that they want to continue to support Elon Musk and listen to what Elon Musk says about Donald Trump, we'll have to see over the next few days. That's going to be the interesting thing here. But of course, the other big test is what this does to the big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump wants passed through the US Congress. And if the bill ends up not being passed, then that would be a significant loss for Donald Trump. And that's certainly what Elon Musk is hoping for.
Look, if you want to look at it, yes, Donald Trump is the US president and he's incredibly powerful right now and did rightfully get elected as the US president by Americans. But then there's the other school of thought saying, okay, Elon Musk owns Starlink. He owns a whole fleet of Teslas out there. He does have a lot of power as a tech entrepreneur. How concerning is that? And also, the second question I'll ask you is, what access did he have to top secret information within the White House?
Well, I mean, who knows to the second part. I mean, he certainly had a lot of access to a lot of information about how the government functioned. He was able to sort of go into government departments, look at their payroll, look at their spending, try and shut down different parts of the government. Would he know if Donald Trump was on some secret list tethering him in some way to Jeffrey Epstein, the financier and accused sex trafficker? And I think the answer is potentially not. Potentially this is Elon Musk is making this up. Of course, the other interesting thing about this is that what Elon Musk is effectively saying is, I knew that Donald Trump was hanging out, has some proven association, potentially nefarious, with this sex criminal. And I didn't think that it was relevant to tell anybody about it until I had a dispute with him over other issues. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk is just making it up. Of course, he has a long history of just making up accusations of pedophilia. You remember the time that he accused one of the men who were diving into the cave in Thailand trying to rescue that soccer team of being a pedophile? That was one of the first things that, to me, made me think, something's a bit off about Elon Musk. Something is a bit different about this guy. He's not your usual tech titan. And in terms of his level of power, certainly he is a very powerful person, but his power has been rapidly dwindling. And now that he's feuding directly with Donald Trump, the hardcore Trump supporters are also not going to like Elon Musk. So his supporter base is shrinking. And we've seen the effect of that already on the financial markets with an enormous dumping of Tesla stock. Another one, there have been several throughout the year, but another one today after he got into this feud with Donald Trump.
You make a great point there. That was the question I was going to ask, Matt. If you're talking about winners right now, it looks like Elon Musk is certainly the big loser in this feud at this early stage, with all of the effects on his already embattled Tesla car company. There is a growing school of thought that Elon Musk was played like a violin by Donald Trump. He knew that he could help him win. He knew he had hundreds of millions of dollars supporting him to get to the White House. That assures you an important seat at the table in the White House. And then when I've got what I want out of you, see you later, alligator. Do you think that's the right analogy?
No, not quite, because I think both of them thought that they were using the other for their own personal gain. I think the thing that Elon Musk didn't quite appreciate about Donald Trump is that Donald Trump doesn't really care about policies much at all. Elon Musk got in there promising to radically reshape the way that the US federal budget works. This was his mission. Whether or not it was a wise mission or whether or not he did a good job is, that's another point. But his mission was clearly that he wanted to make massive cuts to federal spending. At the same time, other members of the Trump administration were supposed to raise the income that the federal government was bringing in through the use of tariffs, and through the use of those two things, you would end up with a balanced budget. And that is what Elon Musk has been talking about for years, is the need to balance the US budget to get the US government out of debt. I think that Elon Musk got the impression that Donald Trump actually cared about that, but I don't think that Donald Trump cares about the debt of the US government at all, only insofar as it benefits him in one way or another. So I think that was the mistake that Elon Musk made. And once it became clear to him that Donald Trump was going to undermine any work that he was attempting to do through DOGE, his Department of Government Efficiency, he got out of there because, it was a total waste of his time.
So if Elon Musk thought he was going in there to do the right thing and to cut the budget and help the US economy and to save jobs, where does this leave Americans right now and the economy overall with the US?
Well, in the same state of utter confusion that it's been in for months. Americans don't know what the tariff situation is going to be 3 months from now. 3 months from now, Americans could be back in a situation where they're seeing 125, 150% tariffs on Chinese products coming into the United States, which would be enormously disruptive to the US economy. It's spectacularly disruptive. And similarly, I'm sure that Donald Trump isn't sure what's going to... Donald Trump will decide, on a whim, as he does, what he's going to do with foreign tariffs. The thing is that people at some point will want to know, that they need to make investments for, what equipment do I need to buy in order to do next year's harvest? Should I be planting soybeans right now, or is there going to be, are there going to be tariffs to incentivize me to plant soybeans, or is there not going to be tariffs to, and that kind of thing? It's business and government works on long-term bases, and at the moment, Trump is changing policies every couple of weeks. And this whole Elon Musk saga that feels like it's been going on for a long time has burned itself out in less than 5 months. So, it's an extraordinary rate of change that's going on in the United States. It's quite unstable, and I don't know whether it will stabilise at any point. But I think at some point people in the United States are really going to want it to.
Just on that point, Matt, because we sit back and we're thinking this is all very entertaining, this reality show that's playing out in real life, right? But on a serious note, there are huge international implications for this. For workers and businesses in the US, as you mentioned, everything that they do has to be on some form of planning. And internationally, even for us here in Australia, it has huge implications.
Yeah, well, should we be scaling up aluminium production or not? Should we be making more steel? Should we be trying to form new military alliances if the United States is now going to be unstable into the future? At the moment, we've got a decades-long deal with the United States to buy submarines that may or may not ever materialise. What's to stop Donald Trump tearing up that deal tomorrow? The thing is, if you look at it from Trump's perspective, Trump's saying that the world is broken, it's not working for people, things need to change and I'm here to change them, and I'm not going to wait around for, Congress to get around to fixing these problems that I've identified. And that is certainly a way that the American government can run with, rapid change and move fast and break things, the old Silicon Valley slogan. But the rest of the world isn't really built around that. The rest of the world is built around 5-year plans and knowing what's going to happen next year. And the thing is that if Donald Trump is going to continue like this, then people are going to want to disconnect a bit from the United States, because the instability in the United States is not going to allow them to make these long-term plans. And that's all of our industries here in Australia are built on long-term planning. And it takes a long time to build foreign policy and defence policy as well. And if the US is going to be long-term unstable, then new alliances will be made and the US will start to be cut out of things.
Certainly a new world order. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Matt.
No worries.
And that was Matt Bevan, host of If You're Listening. And that's it for this episode of the afternoon edition of The Briefing. We'd love you to subscribe or follow us on Instagram at The Briefing Podcast. And we'll be back tomorrow with the weekend briefing. And on tomorrow's episode, Antoinette is joined by Australian journalist Chang Lei, who was detained by the Chinese government for more than 3 years.
Your most private moments, being watched by guards at all times, watching you go to the toilet and watching you shower, and just all that, all the emotional stress and no outlet, nobody to share it with.
I'm Natarsha Belling. Thanks for your company.